So it is Saturday, August the 15th in the year 2026. The weatherman says today's high is around 81 to 82 degrees, and we're still in the season of summer, and it's not my favorite time of the year. My favorite time of the year is in September, and I'm just praying for August to be completed. So I looked at a video of the Guyanese Critic a couple of days ago, and he was speaking about the CCJ. And in that video, the critic was lambasting the leaking of emails, and it appears to me as though he was trying to blame the Guyanese Justice Bolkan, who's part of the Caribbean Court of Justice panel of judges. The critic was explaining to the reason why he's not doing his daily lives. He's saying that some people, he was going in a certain direction, speaking certain things, but people are not listening to him. What I could remember is that at one time during the elections campaign, he was doing 2 videos a day. Most of those videos was trying to bash T. Mohammed. And what that resulted in? It resulted in the WIN party forming a party to contest elections, probably just over 3 months, and end up getting 16 seats, right? So the work of the critic went for naught. We also had Professor David Hines on Politics 101, also doing the same thing, but he was doing a daily podcast. And guess what? The Politics 101 contribution, the downsizing of Aubrey Norton, the APNO falling from 31 seats to 12 seats. So both the Guyanese Critic and the Professor Hans, both of them could shake each other's hands for the way how the Guyanese people voted for the WIN party, especially Afro-Guyanese. So one of the things that I decided to do is to take the advice of the Guyanese Critic and to go through the article of the Trinidadian newspaper, the Sunday Express, to see exactly what are some of the pertinent points inside. The Guyanese Critic's videos was about 26 minutes, so I just played a short sample of it, and I made some notes about the Sunday Express that I have written down here, and I'm going to share it with you guys. First of all, the article, as I said, is a Trinidadian newspaper. The article is written by the reporter Mark Bassant of the Sunday Express, and the title of Mark Bassant's article is Judges' Internal Email Accuse CCJ President. Of course, the president is Winston Anderson. I should say Justice Winston Anderson, in terms of his dictatorial leadership, panel fixing, and attempting to influence court decisions. It goes on to say that 5 of the 6 judges objected to the authoritarian style of President Anderson. Now, according to the Sunday Express, one judge, Justice Jamadar, said the environment was toxic and alleged interference in matters before the court. And he was speaking about 2 matters in particular, and one of those matters include the Mohammed's extradition process. Justice Iboyi also endorsed Justice Jamadar's sentiments, and he even went on to say that he has never before seen such high levels of dictatorship. Finally, the judges did not, I repeat, the judges did not disagree with the final decision of the court. They all agreed. The only disagreement the judges had was with a proposed, they had a proposal of procedures in respect to the timing and the manner of the court's announcement. Apart from the code of dress, those were some of the main talking points in the Sunday Express. Another thing that I was surprised at, and I think the leader for the PNC, Aubrey Norton, came out and spoke about when the last time the Caribbean Court of Justice president was in Guyana, and I was surprised too when I heard that he was in discussion with our Northern opposition leader in terms of cooperating with the government, in terms of at that time would have been acting chancellor Jan Cummins Edwards, as well as Roxanne George. Anderson was trying to influence Norton to work along with the president in terms of conforming those two. And I was surprised at the time because I was saying, why this guy in Guyana trying to influence the opposition leader to side with the president? So a couple of days ago, Justice Anderson, in a statement said that in retrospect, he now realizes that in terms of trying to influence the opposition leader, it was he went down the wrong way, to paraphrase it, and thinking back now, it should have been done another way. And in other words, he never should have approached the opposition leader trying to influence him to agree with the president of Guyana. But the Justice Anderson was saying that he was concerned that these two ladies were in acting positions for the last 2 decades, and Guyana is the only country in the Caribbean in such a situation where you have these two justices and acting appointments for 2 decades, which is a shame for both the coalition and both the PPP. So I'm going to end here, and anyone has any comments, something that I probably said, or something that you didn't agree on, you're free to express your comments. To all my subscribers in the United States, in Guyana, and in other parts of the world, you guys have a great weekend.
There's a Guyanese judge that sits on the panel, and he go with Guyanese mannerism, create confusion. Guyanese got a way about them. If it can't work for them, well, we broke up the thing and done. You understand? Guyanese got a way about them. And that is what you see is coming out in this CCJ debacle. It's a mentality. I could tell you I'm Guyanese. I'm Guyanese. And I used to think that way. Only with a level of maturity that came from experience of age and time has caused me to change my mindset as it relates to that. Like I am basically done, fed up. Because I am not satisfied with the benefits or rewards of what I do as a journalist. Straight up. Makes no sense to me. I gotta weigh the pros and cons. So I just calculate. Why come out every day, stress yourself out for people who never learn, and then what is it? What is the benefit for me? A fight down crab in a barrels. The people who eat, even the same people that you're supporting, trying to pull you down. It makes no sense. It's better I deal with my private part. I'm doing well, extremely well for myself. So I have to weigh that. But then this morning, a man said, buddy, you are the only body could come and explain to the people. A man from Port Kaituma called me and said, what's going on with the CCJ thing? People didn't understand. And imagine having an article, an extensive article in the Demerara Waves that did not do any justice in explaining to the people. If you go across all the articles in news media in Guyana, you'd realize an attempt is being made to bring disrepute. And when you go to the Trinidadian Express, you realize it has nothing to do with Guyana. There's a little row in the CCJ between judges. Human nature. Human nature. Local media, Guyanese media, take it and spin it and try to bring disrepute. People who you would normally believe in. Demerara Waves took an article. I read the article and I did not understand anything. I got the impression I was confused firstly, and that is the intention of the article. The article wasn't written in a confusing manner. It was written in a manner to bring disrepute to the CCJ at this time that the Mohammeds did not get what they want. Look at everything else. Look at the magistrates court. Look at anybody who come up against the Mohammeds. Suddenly, just after you get the issue with the Mohammeds, big thing that's come out about you. Mass confusion. And what assisted the Mohammeds is the fact that a Guyanese judge, who you think a leak? You think a Trinidadian a leak? Look at the history of the CCJ. Look at the history of the CCJ. How they have operated over the years. A principled organization. One Guyanese go. A Guyanese with a mentality from the PNC era. Well, here what now? If we don't get over, broke up the baby party. You know what's the debacle? One judge is saying, man, you can't tell me about what we're in. Yes, African wear. One judge was removed from a panel. The CCJ stated this judge was removed from a panel because of unsuiting attire. African wear is a closed issue. It's not a law. The instance of law issue. One man said, man, you can't remove me from my clothes. I think you're removing me for something else and using it as clothes. Totally different thing. Not a Guyanese. But what happened? A Guyanese there in the email thread. Seeing everything going on. Opportunistically, like Guyanese, don't get what they want. Now took politics that everything is politics again. You can't get an unbiased opinion from anybody in Guyana without infusing politics and race. Nobody's willing to be honest and say, man, you're a black man, but the PPP they're doing reasonable well. Nobody's willing to be honest and say, yo, the PPP can't do better when it's crab in a barrel country. You believe when Jagdio go, when